The freezing wind cut through Dr. Alex River's thick jacket as he trudged across the endless white landscape of Antarctica. For 3 months, he had been alone at the remote research station, studying ancient ice formations that could tell the story of Earth's climate millions of years ago. The isolation was getting to him. But today something different caught his attention. His ground-penetrating radar was picking up an unusual signal. Deep beneath the ice, the readings made no sense. Instead of the typical rock formations or ice layers, the scanner showed something metallic. Something that definitely didn't belong in this frozen wasteland. Alex grabbed his drilling equipment and started working. Hour after hour, he dug through layers of ice that had been frozen for thousands of years. His hands were numb despite the heated gloves, but curiosity drove him forward. Whatever was down there had been waiting a very long time to be found. As the sun began to set, painting the ice fields orange and pink, Alex's drill finally broke through into an empty space. He switched on his powerful flashlight and peered down into the hole. What he saw made him forget about the cold, forget about his tired muscles, forget about everything. There, embedded in the ice like a giant metallic egg, was something that looked like a spacecraft. Its surface was smooth and dark, covered in strange symbols that seemed to shimmer even in the dim light. Alex's heart pounded so hard he could hear it over the howling wind. This was impossible. This was the kind of discovery that would change everything. He spent the next 2 hours carefully widening the hole and setting up ropes to descend. The spacecraft was about the size of a small airplane, but its design was unlike anything humans had ever built. There were no sharp edges, no visible engines, just flowing curves that seemed almost organic. Alex found what looked like a door, though it had no handle or obvious way to open it. As he ran his gloved hand along its surface, the symbols began to glow with a soft blue light. Suddenly, the door simply faded away, as if it had never been there at all. Inside, the spacecraft was filled with the same soft blue glow. The walls were covered in more of those strange symbols, and in the center was something that looked like a bed or sleeping chamber, and lying there, perfectly preserved, was a girl who definitely wasn't human. She appeared to be in her early 20s, with pale blue skin that seemed to have tiny sparkles just beneath the surface. Her hair was long and silver, flowing around her face like liquid metal. She was wearing clothes that looked like they were made from the same material as the ship, smooth, dark, and somehow alive. Alex stood frozen, barely breathing. She looked so peaceful, so beautiful, that he almost forgot she was an alien being from another world. Her chest was rising and falling slowly, which meant she was still alive after who knows how many years trapped in the ice. As he stepped closer to get a better look, her eyes suddenly opened. They were large and violet, unlike any color Alex had ever seen in human eyes. For a moment, they just stared at each other, both equally surprised. She sat up slowly, looking around with confusion. When she saw Alex, her expression changed from fear to curiosity. She tilted her head to one side, studying him the way a scientist might study an interesting specimen. She spoke, but the words were like music, flowing and melodic in a way that human languages never were. Alex didn't understand a single word, but somehow the tone made him feel calm. She wasn't threatening him or showing any signs of panic. Alex slowly removed his helmet, letting her see his face clearly. He pointed to himself and said Alex several times, hoping she would understand. She watched his lips carefully, then tried to repeat the sound. It came out as something like Alex, but close enough to make him smile. She pointed to herself and made a sound that was like wind, chimes mixed with flowing water. Alex tried to repeat it, but couldn't even come close. She giggled, a sound that was surprisingly human-like, and made the sound again, slower this time. Eventually, Alex managed something that sounded like Zira, and she nodded approvingly. Over the next few hours, Alex helped Zira out of the spacecraft and brought her back to his research station. She moved with incredible grace, as if gravity affected her differently than it did humans. Her skin seemed to adjust to the cold automatically, and she showed no signs of discomfort despite wearing clothes that looked thinner than paper. At the research station, Zira was fascinated by everything. She touched the walls, the furniture, the equipment, always with a sense of wonder and curiosity. When Alex showed her how the lights worked, she clapped her hands together with delight. Communication was difficult at first, but Zira seemed to learn incredibly fast. Within just a few hours, she was repeating simple English words and even putting together basic sentences. Her voice had a musical quality that made even simple words sound beautiful. When Alex prepared dinner, Zira watched every step with intense interest. She had never seen human food before, and her reactions to different tastes and textures were amusing. She loved sweet things but wrinkled her nose at anything salty. As they sat together eating, Zira became more playful and comfortable. She would reach out and touch Alex's hands, examining his fingers with the same curiosity she showed everything else. Her touch was warm and surprisingly gentle. At one point, while Alex was explaining something about the research station, Zira suddenly grabbed his hand and brought it closer to her face before Alex could react. She gently bit his finger, not hard enough to hurt, but firm enough for him to feel it. "Ouch," Alex said, pulling his hand back with a surprised laugh. It hadn't really hurt, but the sudden bite caught him completely off guard. Zira looked confused by his reaction. Tilting her head to one side again, she touched the spot where she had bitten him, and Alex noticed it was glowing with a faint blue light, just like the symbols on her spacecraft, but the glow faded within seconds. And Alex figured it was just some kind of natural reaction, like how some deep-sea creatures could create their own light. He laughed it off, thinking it was just Zira's way of exploring human biology. After all, she was probably just as curious about humans as he was about her species. The bite mark didn't even leave a mark, so Alex quickly forgot about it as the night grew later. Alex set up a sleeping area for Zira and showed her how to use the basic facilities at the station. She adapted to everything remarkably quickly, as if her species was naturally good at learning new things. That night, as Alex lay in his bed thinking about the incredible day, he had no idea that Zira's innocent bite had started something that would change both of their lives forever. The discovery of her spacecraft was just the beginning. The real adventure was about to start, and nothing would ever be the same again. 2 weeks had passed since Alex found Zira in the ice, and life at the research station had become more interesting than he could have ever imagined. Zira was learning English at an incredible speed, picking up new words and phrases faster than any human could. She could now hold basic conversations, though she still had that musical way of speaking that made everything sound like a song. Alex had been teaching her about human culture, showing her books, movies, and explaining how people lived in the outside world. In return, Zira would draw pictures on paper, trying to show him glimpses of her own world. Her drawings were beautiful but strange, showing tall crystal towers reaching toward purple skies and creatures that looked like they were made of light. "My home," she would say, pointing to the drawings with sadness in her violet eyes. "Very far, very broken." Alex didn't fully understand what she meant by broken, but he could see the pain in her expression. Whatever had happened to her world, it wasn't good. He found himself wanting to comfort her, to make her feel safe in this strange new place. During the day, Zira helped Alex with his research. She had an amazing ability to understand complex scientific concepts, even though she had never seen human technology before. When Alex showed her ice samples under the microscope, she would point out patterns and structures that he had completely missed. Her insights were making his research better than it had ever been. But it was during the nights that things started getting really strange. Alex began having the most vivid dreams he had ever experienced. In these dreams, he was walking through those crystal cities that Zira had drawn. The air tasted different, sweeter somehow, and there were two suns in the sky casting everything in a warm golden light. He could hear music everywhere, not from instruments, but from the buildings themselves, as if the entire city was alive and singing. The dreams felt so real that when Alex woke up, he was disappointed to find himself back in the cold research station. He could still remember every detail: The way the crystal towers hummed with energy. The feeling of walking on ground that seemed to pulse with life. The incredible sense of peace and harmony that filled everything. At first, Alex thought the dreams were just his imagination running wild after hearing Zira's stories about her home. But as the days passed, the dreams became more detailed and more frequent. He started dreaming about people from Zira's world, tall and graceful with the same pale blue skin and silver hair. He could even understand some of their musical language, though he had no idea how. One morning, Alex woke up with a complete understanding of a scientific principle that he had never studied before. It was something about how energy could flow through crystal structures to create sustainable power. When he wrote it down, the equations seemed to write themselves as if the knowledge had always been in his mind. Zira, Alex said when she joined him for breakfast, I had another dream about your world last night, but this time, I understood things I shouldn't know. How is that possible? Zira looked at him with those large violet eyes, and for a moment, he saw something that might have been worry flash across her face. But then she smiled and shrugged. Dreams are, how you say, mysterious. Maybe your mind is very open. Alex accepted her explanation, but deep down, he knew something unusual was happening. The dreams were too real, too detailed, and the knowledge he was gaining was too advanced for it to be just his imagination. As the days continued, Alex noticed other changes too. Sometimes he would know what Zira was going to say before she said it. Other times, he would start humming melodies he had never heard before, only to realize that Zira was humming the same tune. It was as if they were becoming connected in ways he couldn't explain. Zira seemed to be changing. 2. She was becoming more comfortable with human emotions, laughing more often and showing affection in ways that seemed natural to her, but were completely new to Alex. She would touch his shoulder when she was happy, hold his hand when she was explaining something important, and sometimes she would playfully bite his arm or finger when she was being mischievous. Why do you do that? Alex asked one day after she had gently bitten his wrist. While they were looking at star charts together, Zira blushed, her blue skin turning a lovely shade of purple. Is how my people show caring, like human hug. Yes, Alex laughed and ruffled her silver hair. Well, humans don't usually bite each other to show affection, but I guess every culture is different. Each time Zira bit him, Alex would see that same brief blue glow on his skin before it faded away. He had gotten used to it now, thinking it was just some kind of natural reaction between human and alien biology. The bites never hurt, and they always seemed to happen when Zira was feeling particularly happy or playful. What Alex didn't notice was that after each bite, his dreams became more vivid. His understanding of Zira's language improved, and his scientific insights became more advanced. The changes were gradual enough that he attributed them to spending so much time with someone from another world. Alex also started feeling more connected to Zira's emotions. When she was sad while looking at her drawings, he felt a deep sadness. 2. When she was excited about learning something new, he felt her joy as if it were his own. He assumed this was just natural empathy, the way humans often mirror the emotions of people they care about. One evening, while they were watching the aurora borealis dance across the Antarctic sky, Zira suddenly grabbed Alex's hand. You feel it too, she said, not really asking but stating a fact. Feel what? Alex asked, though somehow he knew exactly what she meant. The connection, the sharing. Zira looked into his eyes, and Alex felt like she could see directly into his soul. My people, we connect with others is natural for us, but humans, I not know if humans can connect. How? Alex asked, his heart beating faster. Zira bit her lip, seeming to struggle with how to explain. Like two streams becoming one river, still separate, but also together. Alex squeezed her hand, feeling a warmth spread from where their skin touched. I think I understand. I've been feeling it too. The dreams, the way I sometimes know what you're thinking. It's not just my imagination, is it? Zira shook her head slowly. No, is real, is what my people call soul binding. But I not know it would work with human. I not know. She trailed off, looking worried. Alex could feel her concern as if it were his own emotion. "It's okay," he said softly. "Whatever this is, whatever's happening between us, it's not a bad thing. I've never felt more complete than I have these past 2 weeks." Zira smiled, but Alex could still sense her worry underneath. There was something she wasn't telling him, something important. But in that moment, watching the green and blue lights dance across the sky while holding hands with someone from another world, Alex felt like he was exactly where he was meant to be. The connection between them was growing stronger every day, and Alex found himself looking forward to seeing where it would lead. He had no idea that this beautiful, mysterious bond was actually changing him in ways that couldn't be undone, and that Zira's innocent bites were the key to everything that was happening between them. A month had passed since Alex first discovered Zira, and the research station felt more like home than ever before. But today, everything was about to change. Dr. Luna Chen, Alex's research partner and closest friend from the university, was arriving by helicopter to check on his work and bring fresh supplies. Alex had been looking forward to Luna's visit, but now he felt nervous. How would he explain Zira? How would Luna react to meeting someone who was clearly not from Earth? And how would he explain the strange changes he had been experiencing? Zira seemed nervous too, though she tried to hide it. She had learned a lot about human behavior from Alex. But meeting a new person would be her first real test. Alex had spent the morning coaching her on what to say and how to act, though her musical way of speaking would probably give her away immediately. When the helicopter landed, kicking up clouds of snow and ice, Alex felt his heart racing. Luna stepped out, tall and confident as always, her black hair whipping in the wind. She had been Alex's friend since graduate school, and she knew him better than almost anyone. If anyone would notice the changes in him, it would be Luna. "Alex." Luna shouted over the noise of the helicopter rotors. "You look different. Have you been getting enough sleep?" Even before she got close, Luna could see that something had changed about Alex. His eyes seemed brighter, more alert, and there was something about the way he moved that seemed more graceful than before. When she hugged him, she noticed he felt different too, more energetic somehow. "I'm fine," Alex said, trying to sound normal. "Actually, I'm better than fine. Wait until you see what I've discovered." Luna followed Alex back to the research station, chattering about news from the outside world and updates from the university. But as soon as they stepped inside, she stopped talking. Standing in the main room was the most beautiful girl Luna had ever seen, with pale blue skin and silver hair that seemed to shimmer in the artificial light. "Luna," Alex said, trying to keep his voice steady, "I'd like you to meet Zira. She's the discovery I mentioned." Zira stepped forward with that impossible grace Alex had gotten used to. "Hello. Luna, Alex has told me much about you. I am pleased to make your meeting." Luna's mouth fell open, not just because of Zira's appearance, but because of the way she spoke. Her voice had that same musical quality as Alex's had developed over the past few weeks, and her grammar patterns were exactly like his recent emails. She's not human," Luna whispered, staring at Zira with wide eyes. "No," Alex said simply. "She's not. I found her in a spacecraft buried in the ice. She's been living here with me for the past month." Luna looked back and forth between Alex and Zira, her scientific mind racing to process what she was seeing. But there were other things that bothered her more than just meeting an alien. Alex's behavior, his way of speaking, even the way he stood seemed different. And when Zira moved to Alex's side, Luna noticed something that made her blood run cold. They moved in perfect synchronization. When Alex shifted his weight to his left foot, Zira did the same. When Zira tilted her head slightly, Alex mirrored the movement exactly. It was as if they were connected by invisible strings. "Alex," Luna said slowly, "can I talk to you privately for a moment?" Alex looked at Zira, and Luna saw them exchange a look that seemed to communicate more than words. It was the kind of look that people who had been married for decades might share, not to beings who had known each other for only a month. "Sure," Alex said. "Zira, could you give us a few minutes?" Zira nodded and walked toward the back of the station, but Luna noticed that Alex turned his head to watch her go, as if he couldn't bear to lose sight of her even for a moment. When they were alone, Luna grabbed Alex by the shoulders. "What has she done to you?" "What do you mean?" Alex asked, but Luna could see confusion in his eyes, as if he genuinely didn't understand what she was talking about. "Alex, you're different. The way you talk, the way you move, even the way you think seems to have changed. And those emails you've been sending me with scientific concepts that are years ahead of current research. Where did that knowledge come from?" Alex frowned, trying to remember. It was true that his research had improved dramatically since Zira arrived, but he had assumed it was because she was helping him see things from a different perspective. "I've been learning from Zira," he said. "She's incredibly intelligent. Her species has knowledge that we're only beginning to discover." "But Alex, that's not how learning works. You don't just absorb advanced scientific concepts overnight. And the synchronization between you two, it's not natural. You're moving like you share the same mind." As Luna spoke, pieces started falling into place in Alex's mind. The dreams, the sudden understanding of complex concepts, the way he could sense Zira's emotions as if they were his own. All of it had happened so gradually that he hadn't noticed the pattern. "What are you saying?" Alex asked, though part of him already knew the answer. Luna pulled out a small medical scanner from her equipment bag. "I'm saying I think she's doing something to you, probably without you even realizing it. Will you let me run some tests?" Alex wanted to refuse, but Luna's worried expression convinced him. He sat still while she scanned his brain activity, his heart rate, and his neural responses. What she found made her hands shake. "Alex," Luna said, her voice barely above a whisper, "your brain patterns have changed completely. You're showing neural activity in areas that should be dormant, and your brain waves are synchronizing with patterns I've never seen in humans. It's like someone else's thoughts are mixing with yours." The blood drained from Alex's face. "That's impossible, is it?" Luna asked. "Think about it, Alex. When did these changes start? What has Zira been doing to you?" Alex tried to remember, but his memories seemed fuzzy, like looking through fog. He could remember Zira biting him playfully, the blue glow on his skin, the way she would hold his hand and look into his eyes. At the time, it had all seemed innocent and sweet. "She bites me sometimes," Alex said slowly, "when she's being playful. She said it's how her people show affection." Luna's eyes widened. "Show me." Alex rolled up his sleeves, and Luna examined his arms with the scanner. What she found made her gasp. There were traces of unknown biological compounds in his bloodstream, concentrated around areas where his skin showed the faintest scars from small bites. "Alex, those aren't just love bites. She's been injecting you with something that's changing your brain chemistry and creating a connection between your minds." The room seemed to spin around Alex as the truth hit him. All those beautiful moments with Zira, all the growing closeness he had felt, all of it had been the result of some kind of alien process that he hadn't consented to. "But why?" Alex asked. "Why would she do this to me?" Before Luna could answer, they heard Zira's musical voice from the doorway. "Because my people are dying, and I needed to find a way to save us." Both Alex and Luna turned to see Zira standing there, tears flowing down her blue cheeks. Her violet eyes were filled with sadness and regret. "I not mean to hurt you, Alex. I not know that humans could not share the bonding like my people do. On my world, when we bond with someone, both people become stronger. But with humans, I am taking your mind to save mine." "Taking his mind?" Luna demanded. "What do you mean?" Zira looked at Alex with love and desperation in her eyes. "My world is dying. My people sent me to find new hosts, beings who could carry our consciousness and help us survive. The bonding was meant to create a perfect joining. But human minds, they cannot hold to souls. Soon, Alex will be gone, and only I will remain." In his body, Alex felt like the world was collapsing around him. The woman he had come to love, the connection he had treasured, was actually killing him slowly. And the worst part was that he could feel Zira's genuine sorrow and regret through their bond, which made it impossible to hate her. "How long do I have?" Alex asked quietly. Zira couldn't meet his eyes. "I not know. Maybe weeks. Maybe less. I'm so sorry, Alex. I not know this would happen." Luna grabbed Alex's arm. "We have to find a way to reverse this. There has to be something we can do." Zira shook her head sadly. "The bonding cannot be undone. But maybe my ship's computer has answers. It knows more about the process than I do. But to access it..." "What?" Alex asked. "To access it, the bonding must be complete. You would have to let me finish what I started. But if we do that, you will be gone forever." Alex looked back and forth between Luna and Zira, realizing that he was facing an impossible choice. He could try to fight the bonding and probably die anyway, or he could sacrifice himself to potentially save both Ziras, people, and find a solution that might help others. Either way, the Alex who had discovered Zira in the ice a month ago was running out of time. 6 weeks had passed since Alex first found Zira, and the situation was getting worse by the hour. The bonding process was accelerating, and Alex could feel his own thoughts becoming harder to hold onto. Sometimes he would start a sentence as himself and finish it with Zira's words. Other times, he would look in the mirror and see Zira's violet eyes staring back at him instead of his own. Brown ones. Luna had been working around the clock, trying to find some way to slow down or reverse the process. She had contacted every expert she could reach, but none of them had any experience with alien neurobiology. The medical equipment at the research station was limited, and every test she ran just confirmed what they already knew. Alex was losing himself piece by piece. The worst part was that Alex could feel everything Zira was experiencing too. Her memories of her dying world flooded his mind during the day, showing him the slow collapse of an entire civilization. At night, he dreamed of crystal cities cracking apart, of people dying as their planet's core grew cold, of desperate families sending their children away in small ships hoping they would find somewhere safe to survive. "I can see it all," Alex told Luna one morning, his voice carrying both his own accent and Zira's musical tone. Her world was beautiful. Luna imagined cities that sang with the wind, where every building was alive and growing. But something went wrong with their planet's energy source. The crystals that powered everything started failing, and they couldn't fix them. Luna looked up from her research notes, worried by how easily Alex was switching between perspectives. "Alex, you need to fight this. Try to focus on your own memories, your own experiences." But Alex was already lost in Zira's past again. They tried everything to save their world. Some of their people volunteered to merge with the planet's core, hoping to restart the energy flow. Others built ships to search for new worlds. Zira was one of the youngest chosen for the journey because she had the strongest bonding abilities. "Alex," Luna said sharply, grabbing his shoulders, "come back to me. You're Alex Rivera, not Zira. You grew up in California. You love terrible science fiction movies. And you hate coffee but drink it anyway. Remember who you are." Alex blinked, and for a moment, his eyes cleared. "I'm sorry. It's getting harder to tell where I end and she begins. Luna, I don't think we can stop this." Zira had been standing in the doorway, listening to their conversation. She stepped forward, her blue skin pale with worry. "There's one way," she said quietly. "My ship's computer contains all the knowledge of my people. If we can access it fully, it might have a solution." "But," Luna asked, sensing there was more. "But to access the deepest levels of the computer, I need to complete the bonding with Alex. The ship only responds to fully bonded pairs. It was designed that way to protect our most important secrets." Luna stood up quickly. "Absolutely not. That would mean Alex disappears completely." "Maybe not," Zira said, hope creeping into her voice. "The computer might know how to create a true joining instead of just an absorption. On my world, bonded pairs became stronger together, not one consuming the other. But something went wrong with Alex because humans are different." Alex looked back and forth between them, feeling torn. Through the bond, he could sense Zira's desperate hope and Luna's fear. But he could also feel something else, time running out, every hour that passed. More of his original self slipped away. What if we're wrong? Alex asked. What if accessing the computer just makes things worse? Then I will find another way, Zira said firmly. But Alex, you are already fading. If we do nothing, you will be gone within days. And I will be trapped in a human body with no way to help my people or bring you back. Luna pulled Alex aside. This is insane. We're talking about gambling with your life based on the hope that an alien computer might have answers. Luna, I'm dying anyway, Alex said. His voice calmed despite the situation. At least this way, there's a chance. And if Zira's people really are dying, maybe we can save both her world and find a way for me to survive too. But what if I become something new? Alex interrupted. What if instead of losing myself, I become part of something bigger? Luna, I can feel what Zira feels. Her people aren't evil. They're just trying to survive, and through the bond, I've seen things, learned things that could help both our species. Luna was quiet for a long moment, torn between her desire to save her friend and her fear of losing him forever. Finally, she sighed. If we're going to do this, we do it right. I want to monitor everything, and if anything goes wrong, we stop. Immediately, they spent the rest of the day preparing. Luna set up every piece of monitoring equipment she had, ready to track Alex's vital signs and brain activity throughout the process. Zira explained how the ship's computer worked, describing the deep mental connection required to access its most protected information. As evening approached, they made their way back to the spacecraft buried in the ice. The symbols on its hull glowed brighter as they approached, as if the ship could sense what was about to happen. Inside the ship, Zira guided Alex to a special chamber he hadn't seen before. The walls were covered in crystalline panels that pulsed with soft light, and in the center was something that looked like a combination of a chair and a living tree. This is where the bonding is meant to be completed, Zira explained. On my world, pairs would come here together, and the ship would help them join safely. But I did not know if it will work with a human. Alex sat in the strange chair, feeling the organic material just to fit his body perfectly. Zira took her place beside him, her hand finding his. The moment their skin touched, the chamber filled with brilliant blue light. Alex, Zira whispered, whatever happens, know that I never meant to hurt you. You gave me friendship when I was lost and alone. If this works, we will be together always. If it does not, it will work, Alex said, squeezing her hand. I can feel it. The ship wants to help us. The crystalline panels around them began to pulse faster, and Alex felt the bonding process accelerate beyond anything he had experienced before. But this time, instead of feeling like he was being consumed, it felt like he was expanding. Zira's memories and knowledge flowed into him, but his own thoughts and experiences flowed into her as well, through the ship's systems. Alex could suddenly sense the vast database of Zira's civilization, thousands of years of scientific knowledge, cultural memory, and wisdom opened up to him like a library the size of a planet. But more importantly, he could feel the ship analyzing both their minds, searching for a way to create a true partnership instead of a consumption. It's working. Luna's voice came through their communication system, monitoring from outside the ship. Your brain patterns are stabilizing, but they're unlike anything I've ever seen. It's like you're becoming something entirely new. Alex felt himself changing, but not disappearing. He was still Alex, with all his memories and personality intact. But now he was also part of Zira, and she was part of him. They were two individuals who had become something greater together. The ship's computer spoke to them both in their minds. Its voice like crystalline bells. It had found the answer they were looking for. When Alex opened his eyes, the world looked different. Colors were more vivid. Sounds had layers he had never noticed before, and he could sense energy patterns flowing through everything around him. But most importantly, he was still himself. He could feel Zira's presence in his mind, but she hadn't consumed him. Instead, they had become partners in the truest sense. Alex? Luna's voice came through the communication system, tense with worry. How do you feel? Alex sat up slowly, marveling at how natural the movement felt. Beside him, Zira opened her violet eyes, and when she looked at him, he could see his own brown eyes reflected in hers, just as she could see her violet ones in his. "I feel complete," Alex said, his voice carrying a harmony that was both his own and Zira's. "We're both here, Luna. We're both still ourselves, but we're connected in a way that makes us stronger." The ship's computer had downloaded its solution directly into their joint consciousness. The bonding process had been designed wrong for humans because Zira's people had tried to adapt their natural ability to a species that worked differently. Humans couldn't merge the way Zira's species could, but they could form partnerships that were just as strong. The computer found the answer. Zira said, her voice now carrying some of Alex's warmth and humor. "My people made a mistake when they tried to bond with humans. We were trying to create single beings. But humans are meant to remain individuals even when connected." As they emerged from the spacecraft, Luna ran to meet them, her scientific instruments in hand. What she found amazed her. Both Alex and Zira showed completely stable brain patterns, but they were synchronized in ways that suggested constant communication between their minds. "You're both still yourselves," Luna said in wonder, scanning their neural activity. "But you're connected. How is this possible?" The ship's computer had records of other species that formed similar bonds. Alex explained, "Not all connections have to result in one consciousness consuming another. Some create partnerships where both individuals become enhanced versions of themselves." Over the next few hours, they learned the full scope of what had happened. Alex now had access to all of Zira's memories and knowledge, while she had gained his human perspective and emotional understanding. But more importantly, the ship's computer had provided them with the solution to save Zira's people. "We don't need human hosts," Zira said, excitement growing in her voice. The computer found another way. "We can create artificial crystalline bodies that our consciousness can inhabit. They will be like living ships, able to survive in space and eventually find or create new worlds. But that would require incredible amounts of energy and resources," Luna pointed out. Alex smiled, and Luna could see both his own expression and something that was purely Zira shining through. "That's where the partnership comes in. Human technology combined with Zira's people's knowledge of crystal engineering could make it possible. We could help each other." The plan that emerged was ambitious, but achievable. Zira would use the ship's communication systems to contact her people and share the new solution. Instead of looking for host species, they could work with humans to develop the crystalline body technology. In return, humanity would gain access to advanced scientific knowledge that could solve many of Earth's problems. "Think about it," Alex said to Luna as they stood outside the research station, watching the aurora dance across the sky. "Clean energy systems based on living crystals, medical technology that could eliminate most diseases, space travel that doesn't require massive fuel consumption. Both our species could benefit." But the immediate question was what would happen to Alex and Zira. They were now something unprecedented, the first successful human-alien partnership of its kind. They could live normal lives while sharing thoughts and experiences, but they were also something entirely new. "I want to help make this work," Alex said. "Zira's people have been suffering for generations, and humanity has always dreamed of meeting other intelligent life. This could be the beginning of something incredible." Luna nodded slowly. As a scientist, she was fascinated by the possibilities. As Alex's friend, she was relieved that he had survived the process with his personality intact. "What happens now? Now we change the world," Zira said, her hand finding Alex's. "We prove that different species can work together instead of one consuming the other. We show both our peoples that partnership is better than conquest." The ship's communication array activated, sending signals across the galaxy to Zira's dying world. The message was simple but revolutionary. There was hope, and it didn't require taking over other species. It required working together. Over the following months, as news of the discovery spread and scientists from around the world came to study the partnership between Alex and Zira, they became symbols of what was possible when different beings chose cooperation over domination. Alex continued his research, now enhanced by knowledge from an advanced alien civilization. Zero learned to appreciate human art, music, and literature, finding beauty in the chaotic creativity of human culture. Together, they worked on developing the technologies that would save our people while advancing human civilization. The little bite that had started everything, Zero's innocent attempt to show affection, that had nearly cost Alex his identity, had instead become the foundation for the most important partnership in human history. Sometimes Alex would joke about it, telling people that the most important moment in interspecies relations began with ouch. But he knew that the real lesson was deeper than that. True connection, whether between humans or between species, required understanding, consent, and mutual respect. The painful process they had gone through taught them that the best relationships weren't about one person or species dominating another, but about finding ways to grow stronger together. As they watched the first of Zero's people arrive on Earth in their new crystalline bodies, ready to begin building a shared future between two worlds, Alex realized that what had started as a terrible mistake had become the most beautiful thing he had ever been part of. The future was uncertain, full of challenges and possibilities they couldn't yet imagine. But whatever came next, they would face it together, not as human and alien, but as partners in the truest sense of the word.